Hey everybody. Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we will get going. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I know this is kind of like a late night one, but I wanted to give you guys an update because we've had some more data come in and we're going to be able to get a little bit more exact on when the things are going to be starting to hit. And yeah. Also, guys, I'm going to address a few things here too. Um, Let me see here real quick. Sorry, guys. Are we 5 for 5? If we are, just let me know. But also, guys, we got this, this one here, this big X flare. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. This is now became, it's forecasted now to be at least a G3. They don't normally come out that quick with something that kind of a forecast. And they did with this one, so that must mean that they're fairly confident. Hopefully. Hopefully that's what that means. So we will we'll do that. But yeah, guys. So let's see here. Are we 5 for 5? Can somebody give me a 5 for 5 in there just to make sure? Hey, Leah, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hey, Miss V, what's happening? Appreciate all you guys. Truly do. Truly do. So before we get started, I do want to go over some chat rules, okay? And this goes for everybody. I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm saying here, okay? Everybody is allowed to have whatever opinion that they have on whatever subject that they have, right? That they're talking about in the chat. I don't mind if you guys are going off topic. I would love for it to stay somewhere close to space weather, but I get it, right? We're not going to attack each other. We're not going to do any of that stuff. With that being said, that means I've always tried to cultivate a chat to where you guys can tell me and say whatever your opinion is. So whatever that is, it's just what it is. So unless it has vulgarity or anything like that in it, the comment is going to stay. So please, guys, moderators, please understand that. Just, it's, I know that sometimes we don't agree, and that's fine. You're more than welcome to, anybody is welcome just to put whatever they want in there. As long as it's not, now if it gets too bad in there and stuff like that, I'll have to do something different, I guess. I don't know. But I want you guys to be able to say what you think and what you feel, right? But we're not going to attack each other. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do those kinds of things. The rules in my chat have always been the same since the beginning. As long as it's not disrespectful and as long as it's not vulgar, that's just how it goes, right? And also, too, guys, listen, I don't want any politics as long as you guys can keep it out of there. That right there is it sparks a big fight every time. It just really truly does. Well, and I guess I made an offensive, not really offensive, but a misunderstood comment during the last live stream. I was talking about all the internet stuff about the cat and the dog thing with the apartment complexes and stuff like that. You know how the presidential debate, that conversation was being had at that level, and I love pets. I have one. You guys, anybody knows me knows that. It really truly is one of those things. And so I just want to make sure you guys know that I was not making any kind of like, hey, I don't support people that, because that whole conversation, I didn't even know if it was true or not. I just thought it was, I seen a bunch of memes and GIFs and stuff going around the internet. That's why I made the comment. I watched some of the presidential debate with my daughter, but I didn't watch all of it. I seen bits and pieces of that, but I just, I guess I should have been more informed before I said anything. So I will not make comments like that again. I don't want to offend you guys. I value you guys. I truly do. I hope that you can understand that. And, I'm not, number one, I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes. And if I offend anybody, I do apologize. I truly do. I never intend to do those kinds of things. Also, people are allowed to say what they want about me in the chat and in the comment sections. Okay, please don't respond. I can do that on my own. I don't want you guys fighting with each other because it just makes, we're not going to have drama is what I'm saying. So no vulgarity. You can have whatever opinion you have. Moderators, don't delete the comments unless it is that vulgar or like attacking others, those kinds of things. So please just do that for me. That's all I'm asking. And and I really hope that we can do that. It's okay, guys, and I understand. See, and that's what I'm saying. Even me saying what I'm saying right now, I even hesitated to even talk about it during the stream. I was just going to kind of try to handle, kind of do things a little bit different there, but I don't like this kind of stuff. It makes me, it stresses me out. It really, well, it it makes me sad. I can tell you that it really truly does. Because if I hurt somebody's feelings or made them feel bad, I really it makes me feel bad. It really does. No matter if I think I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I still made somebody feel bad with the words that I said, and it was never my intent. So I just want you guys to know that. And yeah. So anyway, I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably shut the comments off on that previous video. I'm not sure yet. I just don't want people getting mad at each other and stuff like that. I can handle me, but just know that I never intend to offend anybody. So, yeah, I know, but I just don't want I don't want people to be offended. I want people to feel happy and those kinds of things. I don't ever want anybody to feel the other way. Because and frankly, I consider a lot of you guys friends, and if I consider you a friend and I hurt one of my friends by something that I said, especially when I didn't intentionally mean to do it, it makes me sad. I feel sad right now. I feel bad. I really do. But I can't. I don't know what to do. So that's all I can do is just try to hold down the fort that way, and I don't know what else. But anyway, let's get to space weather. I probably, what was that, about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And that's okay. I mean, if it don't get views, people are going to slam me anyway for squirreling around and all that kind of stuff. They do every video, and I'm just trying to do the best I can. But anyway, okay, so, guys, yeah, we got this X-flare here. And that happened before. I think the radiation storm that we're seeing might be coming more so from that one. But if you time this out, the proton increase didn't happen until this X-flare happened. Okay? So I think that that's most likely what caused this increase in radiation, protons. So if we do see that continuing, I love all you guys too. I really do. And that's why I care. I really truly do. I wouldn't even, most people wouldn't even address this. They just wouldn't. Most people would just keep moving. Or attack, But I actually care about you guys. I really truly do. Because I know you guys care about me. So when somebody here is feeling a certain way, it tears me up. I mean, yeah. I'm probably not going to sleep very good tonight. I mean, that's just how I am. It's just how I am. So, and it ain't nobody's fault. I'm just saying, this is how I am. And a lot of you guys know that about me. But, I have very high anxiety issues. But, again, we're not going to go down that road anymore. We're going to go back to space weather here for tonight. Anyway, so they're talking about a G1, G3, G3. They don't usually go here with the G3 stuff that quick. Okay? First off, I have to say, this thing fired off when? Look at this, guys. 3/4 of the way into the day on the 15th. Or on the 14th. When's it supposed to hit? It's like getting here in a day and a half. Okay? So, we're talking 30 hours. Let's see here. 36 hours, maybe. But it's definitely under 2 days. What does that mean? That means it's moving fast. And I mean extremely fast. Okay? So just know that. Check this out, guys. This is NOAA's model. I have very seldom seen it do this. Okay? First off, what you're noticing is it's just one hit. And that may kind of bid well for us as far as any kind of serious issues from these kinds of storms. In other words, we're going to have at least a day, at least from right now, it's what it seems. Unless we get like one of those smaller CMEs hitting before this, we'll have a day for our magnetosphere to kind of calm back down a little bit. And that could help. That could help us deflect things. Also, the magnetic fields inside this CME, they need to be correct. If they're not correct, the BZ is going to block it. Not really block it, but it's going to help deflect it. Now, a CME of this size and this power most likely is going to give us a geomagnetic storm no matter what. Okay? So just let me say that first and foremost. All right? But it may not be as strong if the magnetic fields inside the CME itself are the same polarity as we are. Because then we deflect it. Right? And vice versa is true. If it's the opposite, you'll see our BZ go into the negative. -6 or bigger. What do I always say? That's going to draw it all in here, right? So, anyway, as you can see there, boom. Okay? Now, at first I thought this was going to be kind of a glancing blow, because that's what NASA is saying. The NASA model, the same model, right here. Okay, do you guys see the difference here? The NASA model, and I wish I could stop this. I should have recorded it so I could stop it. But what you're going to see here, guys, is it's not... This is still one CME, right? But you can tell how it splits right there. Okay? And you see how far to our, what would be our east, to our left, I guess you could say, that is from Earth, right there. Now you compare that to this one, and look, that's closer to Earth. So what it's done is it's brought us a more of a direct hit. So NOAA is thinking that this came more at an angle towards us than what NASA is. Okay? So I'll just say that first and foremost. It just is what it is. Okay? Now, as I move forward here and I just keep going, boom, boom, right? So this is density up here, and then this is speed down here. So I just want you guys to understand that. This is it's going to matter this time which one of these is right. That's what I'm saying. Because if the NOAA one's right, we're going to get a harder hit. Because they're showing a more direct hit than what NASA is. NASA's showing just a glancing blow here. Look at the straight line over here. It barely touches us. Now, granted, the wake from something like that that's moving that fast is probably going to be significant. All right? Of course you can, Dragon Tack. I would show that all day long. All day long, all night strong. Hey, Tiger Z, good to see you. Phase of the Moon, what's up? V, I appreciate you. I really sure do. I appreciate all you guys. Anybody that's here right now, I know this is a weird time for me to on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, I guess. Juby Joe, welcome to the Kool-Aid Krew. We are going to be doing a members only. I even thought about doing one in the middle of the night tonight. Just to kind of break the monotony and break some of that negativity stuff, you know. That's the whole reason I was even trying to bring a laugh into the stream earlier today. Because I recognize that this can be pretty stressful on people. and I don't want people to be scared. So I was trying to bring the anxiety level down, and yeah, I guess I jacked it all up. I guess I yeah, I wish I hadn't, but it is what it is. I can't, all I can do is say sorry. And I think it was just misunderstood anyway. I love my dogs. You guys, anybody knows me, I've shown a lot of you guys my dog anyway. She's 2 years old. She's my heart. The first year we had Christmas with her, guys, psst, I wasn't leaving the house because I wasn't putting that puppy in a cage. Wasn't happening. That was not going to happen. So I had to call my sister and basically beg her to let me bring the dog with us to Christmas. That kind of thing. Because I know what would happen. I literally was on the couch crying, talking to her on the phone. Like, listen, I don't know if I can leave this dog like this. I can't do it. It breaks my heart to put them in a place like that, especially when they're that young, because they just don't understand yet. And but she let me bring my dog in. And we had a good Christmas. My Puka, her name is Puka. I call her my second baby girl because she's really my daughter's dog. So anyway, I got ripped up again too about squirreling last live stream. And I know this one's squirreling. I kind of that's just going to be this one. So anyway, but I do want to give you guys an update on here though. So let's get back to this. I'm sorry I'm squirreling all around. It really upset me. Okay, guys. I do. Man, I just, yeah. So guys, we got this going on, and let me show you SDO here because I think this is kind of important to understand too. And I'm going to show you where the satellite's at. It always looks at the sun. It rotates, right, to keep its eye on the sun, but it does this figure 8 pattern. It stays over this part of our planet at all times, doing this. Okay? With that being said, they do that a lot of the reasons so they can relay data back down in real time. Okay? So, that's what I'm going to say there. Now, if I could, let me do this here. Trying to see if I can... I want to find a better way to explain this to you guys. Because I feel like I keep repeating myself here, and I'm not sure that I'm doing a very good job of explaining what's going on here. Because this satellite does do this figure 8 pattern. It's in geosynchronistic orbit. The GOES satellites are too. And all that means is it's synchronized geoly, right? What's geoly, if that's even a word? Whenever you hear that word geo, they're talking about the Earth itself. When you hear helio, that's sun. Okay, so synchronistic means what? In sync. So it's in sync with the Earth. So it's moving at the same speed the Earth is. That's what it's saying. Okay, so because it's rotating or orbiting our planet at the same speed that we rotate around our axis, that's why it stays here. Okay, and that's purposefully, obviously. They're not going to put a satellite up there and have it do this on accident. So anyway, it's so they can relay the data back down. That's the biggest reason. One of the biggest reasons. Okay? They can get the data right to White Sands immediately. It's almost real-time stuff here. Because we only get like an hour warning when stuff is coming. And so where do we get that warning from? You guys know? I've asked this before. And I've said it 1,000 times. We get it from this satellite, SOHO. It's right out in front of us, a million miles closer to the sun. There you have it. So it really truly is. That's where it's at. That's the point of view we're looking at here. It's as if you went outside and looked up, just as this is. Okay? For what we're using this for, both of those are from the same perspective. It's just this satellite is closer to the sun. So it's out there doing this orbit, right? A million miles closer to the sun, which gives us about an hour warning when things start to hit. Now that warning's going to close up to probably about a half hour with this incoming CME. Okay? I was wondering if they were ever going to, because I even mentioned in my last live stream, if when NOAA was going to update this. They hadn't updated it for over 2 days, and the X flare had happened, like 16 hours before I went live. Well, maybe not that much, about 12 hours. So they were probably just trying to get their models right, and because they want to make sure that they don't miss this one, because the whole community as a whole, guys, has under forecasted these things as far as how powerful they are. So I am truly thinking they're taking a little extra time to make sure that they get as close to what they think is going to happening right here and show it to us. Now, they're good about if they think they've got it wrong, they'll come back over here and change it. NASA will not do that to this model. This model will look exactly like this 4 days from now if we don't have any more CMEs. The next time we get a CME, then this thing will change. So, yeah. Now, I think there's a way to go back and look on a different. I think I can go over here to ISWA and maybe back it up and see it that way. But just for this particular page here, we're only getting one CME here. So every once in a while, it'll have two on there if they're close enough together. Okay? Yeah, so I'll just say that. Now, let's do this. Because I want to make sure that you guys understand what's happening, okay? Now, like I said before, guys, an S1 radiation storm is not a big deal. The biological effects we feel from that is nothing. It says that in the space weather scales. Okay, where are those? I thought I had them pulled up. Because I do want to go over some of those with you guys this time, because I did have a comment a couple videos back saying, I mentioned this in my last video, nothing's happening. All this stuff is happening, and it's the same as if we walked outside and all we're going to get is the sun shining on us. That's not true. Not even close to being accurate. Okay? And that's why I addressed it. But, so with a radiation storm, we got three kinds of space weather here. Geomagnetic storms, that's when the CMEs hit. Okay? That's measured by the KP index. This. Okay? Or the HP. I show you guys the HP 30 and the HP 60 also from the German website. Now, this one here, radiation storms, is measured by proton flux. Okay, proton increase or decrease. And then the radio blackouts is what we experience when we get the initial flare hitting. Okay? Now, there is no warning for a flare, guys. Even if they got real-time data right back to them, they could not put it into a model and for very many people at all to be able to see it. And then for somebody to see it and then come out here and give you guys some sort of warning in 8 minutes, all that's not going to happen. I promise. So, plus, if you got a really big one, wherever you're at, if you're on the day side of the planet there, you're going to be experiencing communication issues anyway. So things are going to be a little bit slower. So those are the three forms that we mainly, concentrate on because it does affect us the most. So with this, they're saying a G3, right? That's what they're forecasting. They don't forecast that lightly, okay? They usually reserve that. I mean, most of the time when we get to a G3, they said G2. And we can argue whether or not that's what they should do or shouldn't. I'm not here to argue that. I'm just saying that what happens is, and especially now, but I think they're trying to correct a little bit now because they have under forecasted these things almost every time this sun cycle when it comes to the strength of these CMEs and what kind of storm level we'll be getting to. Okay? So I do think they're trying to correct that, and we got to give them credit for that. Okay? We really, truly do. I mean, so, yeah. Now, let's see here. I do want to let you guys know with the G3, surface charging happens, but also intermittent satellite navigation. What that means is, guys, they have to try to steer the satellites in a way to keep them in the orbit that they're in. And I've explained this before. It's as if you guys are walking across a beach, okay? And you're walking through the sand. And then all of a sudden, you walk into a part of the beach that is what, a foot or two deeper? So you're adding extra drag, how much harder it is for you to move, right? The same thing's happening there with our satellites when all these high dense particles get here. It's adding drag. It slows them down. Okay? So that's what happens to them. Plus other things. If it's big enough, it can cause surface charging on these satellites also. And that's not a good thing. You can kind of think about that when you were a kid. I know I used to do this. Drag your feet across the carpet. And then start laughing as you go over and touch your cousin's face. And watch that big, long blue spark reach out and smack him right in the nose. You know how I know that happens? Because I've done it. Also, when I worked at Berry Plastics, I used to be a regrinder, and we would regrind that stuff. And in the wintertime, things are so dry, you couldn't even walk by a full Gaylord. You'd have to stay 2 feet away from it. I literally saw a static electricity spark jump out and hit my boss in the neck, and he was 4 feet away from the Gaylord. It was static electricity. It's amazing. Just the friction from grinding all that plastic up in the dryness of winter. So I mean that's what got him. But it was funny. About knocked him on his butt too. So anyway, that's surface charging kinda. Not exactly, but kinda. Now G4, guys, we could get there. Okay, that's kind of what I'm saying. Whenever I hear a G3 as a forecast, I always consider G4 and G2 also. Okay? Because that's really the kind of range we're talking about here. Now, on something that they might miss a little bit towards the stronger side, it may even get up here, guys. I don't know. But what I do know is this. That is a lot of density. That's 70. Okay? That is almost double what we would consider the high end of normal solar wind speed. If this is actually moving at this pace, okay, it will be one of the fastest ones we've had hit us this sun cycle. So at the same time as you're getting the fast movement, you're also getting high density. Now think about this, okay? So typically if you've got high speed, that means you have to almost by proxy have lower density. Because you're moving more. You're moving more things, right? So it slows you down. Well, guess what? Not this time. Okay? Now, granted, it's probably happening. That phenomenon's still happening. But that points to how powerful this one was. It's overcoming that and still going that fast. So, it's going to be interesting to see what our magnetosphere looks like. I can tell you right now that our space weather data right now, over here on Discover, and let me go up here, we'll just take a look at it, okay? We are up and down right now, so I do think that we have a chance, because right here is the -6 that we look for, right? This is the BZ. This BZ is very important. If we see this thing go negative, like I said earlier, we're going to take a decent hit. And it's going to be something that we're going to see massive aurora. Mel was in here earlier, I'm not sure if he's still here or not, talking about Central Texas aurora. That kind of stuff. That's possible when you start seeing these kind of bigger storms and the BZ be the correct thing. But yeah, so but yeah. Yeah, Miss V, I know. That is an issue sometimes over there. I will say that. But I think it's almost an issue everywhere. Almost it's crazy nowadays. It sucks that we even have to worry about that kind of stuff. Anyway, so you got -6 there, and notice though the density's not getting over 10. It did pop up to like 500 or 600 here, okay? So, guys, and I want to throw this out here too. Let me go back here, because before I say this, I'm not saying that I think this is what's going to happen. I'm saying that this is a possibility, okay? If this 900 ends up being 1200, we're not looking at G3 anymore. Okay? If this 70 ends up being 110 and still gets here and still moves this fast, we're not looking at G3 anymore. We're definitely in G4 range. Oh, it's alright, Trish. Good to see you, girl. Appreciate you. But as we get moving here, guys, I mean, we really have to just pay attention to this one. This is going to be something to see. And the thing of it is, guys, because it's moving so fast, we're not going to have to wait. It's going to get here, and we're going to know. That would suck, Miss V. I mean, honestly, that really would. Yeah. I've had similar things happen, but man, it's pretty scary. Really is. But anyway, let me, and what I also find interesting here, you see the density up here? How it's just like a shot of it and right back down to almost nothing? Look at the speed. The speed doesn't do that. It takes it over a day. Well, here's the peak of it. That's about 800, right? If we go a day away, what are we looking at? About 600, which is still over high end of average. To get back to average, we have to go another day out. So about a day and a half to 2 days of higher speed anyway. I appreciate you, Susan. Seriously, thank you for saying that. Guys, and yeah, thank you. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you. I know you guys know that I try. I do know that. I know you guys know that. I know you guys care about me. Okay. I do know that. Which is why if I accidentally upset somebody, that's why it bothers me. Because they care about me and I care about them, and when one of us makes the other one upset or whatever, it hurts us both, and I don't want that, you know. So I do my best not to do that. But anyway, so we got this high speed stuff, and it's not going to just be there. It's gonna hang around. And so what I'm going to do now, I'll take you guys over here and show you the magnetosphere as it looks right now. And it's good to kind of get an idea of that, okay? So if I show you guys the magnetosphere, and it's not, this is by no means any kind of normal either, okay? This is not our normal ambient looking magnetosphere. What the heck? Okay, never mind. Thought I was seeing something a little different there. All right. So, no, it's not going to be no grid down, guys. And let me say this to you guys. Thank you for saying, fielding that question for me, Aliyah. I can tell you this. It's about a 99% chance that I would never, ever be able to get out here and give you guys any kind of warning on a grid down situation. Okay, the only kind of warning in a situation like that I could ever possibly give you is if it was that perfect storm condition that we had like multiple hits moving at a slower speed than a single hit would be to take the grid down. Okay, it would have to be a multiple hit thing. And, you know, the warning that you would get would be me talking to you guys and telling you, hey, we got these CMEs coming. That's the only warning you would get. I would probably never, ever say, hey, grid down. Because I wouldn't be expecting that kind of a thing. So it'll be something like that. So, you know, that's why it's important for you guys to have a basic understanding of this stuff, okay? And understand that when we do get hit, things like that do happen, but they are very, very rare, okay? And it's only going to happen one time. And I keep saying that to people, okay? Because if it happens one time, two things are going to happen. First, it's going to be horrible on the whole planet. The next thing that's going to happen is when they do get things back up and running again, guess what? They're going to make it substantial enough to where it's going to not do that again. So that's what I'm trying to say here. If we're lucky enough to make it on the other side of that, I don't, you know, hopefully we're not even here to see anything like that. I am not anticipating anything like that right now at all. You know, we're in solar maximum, and we have to understand that this is kind of what we expect during solar maximum. Now, we are more active than what they thought we were going to be, and we are seeing more powerful hits with lower level geomagnetic storming. We're seeing like, well, for instance, we will see Aurora farther south than what we would expect to see during certain levels of storms. Like, say we were supposed to see I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me do this. Just because I think this is a good exercise for us to go through. Wow. Check that out, guys. Holy cow. If that wasn't a change. Whoa. Guys, this is their forecast for Aurora. All right, Leah, get your camera. Check this out. See, guys, the timing of this is going to also matter as far as Aurora goes. Remember, that's the Aurora oval. So in order to be part of that oval, you have to be on the dark side of the planet. Right? So right now, the forecast is this, right here, for us over here. That's tomorrow night. So that's massive. That's a lot of Aurora, okay? So what I'm saying is all of Canada, all of Alaska is going to see massive Aurora. It's happening. And there is no question about it. When this thing starts to hit. Now, I want to say this too. This is NOAA, right? They are going off of their forecast. What did I say a minute ago, a little while ago? NASA isn't necessarily 100% agreeing with that. I was hoping these models would line up, but they're not. Now, this one's close. Okay, I already explained to you the difference, right? NASA is showing this going just a little bit more to our left when you're looking at the sun, which is actually east. It's reversed when you're talking about the sun. So, with that being said, if this pans out, we're still going to see Aurora, right? We're going to see Aurora no matter what. It's just this isn't showing such a direct hit. Now, I also want to preface before I say that this is not necessarily a direct hit either. Okay? The direct hit is here. That's the center of the CME. Now, I'm not sure why they've got this thing splitting right here. I'm not sure what's going on with that, just to be honest with you. Okay? But I will say, north-south, that is right in the middle. Okay? So as far as a north-south orientation, what are we seeing? That's like the center of it. So as far as if it was going to miss to our north or to our south, that was not going to happen. We're going to take that directional is actually where we would expect it to see it, a direct hit, right? Now, as far as east-west, then that's the direction it's hit. It's missing, and I know it's kind of hard to understand because these are all two-dimensional models, and we're trying to understand something that's three-dimensional. So our brain sometimes has a hard time kind of like wrapping around that and understanding, which is why we look at both of these. Okay? We need to know east-west and we need to know north-south. If we know those two things, then we can get a pretty good idea what direction this thing's going. Okay? But I also want to say, because let's go over here to seeds real quick. It happened at 1500 UTC on the 14th. Okay, this is that eruption. It's a big one, guys. And I even told you guys we timed it out roughly by how fast this left the screen. And that's just going off of me looking at this thing for 1,000 hours a year. Okay? I didn't do no math to it. I did a general rule here of typically it takes, when something leaves the surface of the sun, that's the surface. This is the occulter disk, but that white circle is representing the surface. It usually takes about an hour for us to see it out past this occulter disk. So if it takes it an hour to get to there, then, you know, logic says that's 2 hours, that's 3. So to get off the edge of the field of view here on LASCO C2, which is the more zoomed in version, it takes 3 hours. Right? That would be a normal kind of thing we would see. So if I back this up, we can time this out and I can show you that it's not like that. So the first time we see the leading edge is there, right? Well, it's kind of back here, really, because it is poking out right there. So that's 1524, 12 minutes. So it started at 1524, and we'll just take it to where that goes off the edge. It's less than 2 hours, guys. So that's like an immediate, you know, whoa. But yeah. How many flares yesterday, Tubi? I don't really know. To be honest with you, we could count them if you wanted to count them. Officially, yesterday we probably had 2, maybe 3. Remember our baseline X-ray? I've talked about this before. Now I want to point something out, okay? And I didn't report on this back on the 13th because, frankly, guys, I missed it. I'm just being honest with you here. I noticed this before I went live today. I talk about the baseline of our X-ray production, right? How do we come up with the baseline X-ray? Well, when we look at the sun, anything coming off the sun on this side is all included in that X-ray collection. Okay, so when our detector sees the X-ray, it's the X-ray for the whole front of the sun. So what I'm saying is our detector does not know that did that. All it knows is the X-ray came from the sun. And so did that one, and so did that one at the same time. So what that does is it brings your baseline up when you have more sunspots. Now, when you're looking at this, you can see we were in M-class range for half a day with no, like, individual substantial flaring. Just our baseline was up that high. So what that means is it doesn't take much more of a flare to add enough to get us up here to X-class. Now, this up here also is kind of the same thing, but not quite, because our baseline had dropped out in M-class range. Okay, and fairly significantly. So you can see where our baseline was there, and then boom, there went that flare. Now, it was a longer duration flare. It took it 3 to 6 hours for that flare to completely die off. Okay, and like I said yesterday, guys, that's why it produced such a big CME. It just kept erupting. So I'll just, I'll kind of leave it at that. Now, here's the helio viewer. I showed you guys this all the time, and recently I've been showing it to you every video because I think it's good to understand the size of what we're talking about. This is Earth. This is that sunspot that produced the X-flare. Okay, so we got 3 or 4 separate cores here. We have other sunspots here, another one over here. So basically, yeah, that gives you an idea of actually how big the things are that we're looking at, like here, right? So let me go ahead and just pause that, and I want you guys to see this, okay? I'm going to take it frame by frame, and I want you guys to watch right there just how amazing this is. Okay, you see how fast the camera got over flooded with light? This is why that occulter disc is there on this satellite. This satellite does not have that. Okay, these are applied filters. It's filtering out angstroms of light. It's only allowing through the 131. Okay, and it sees a specific gas when that's happening, and it allows us to understand visually something that we typically might not. And so that's why we look at different angstroms, because we get different points of view here, different kind of visual. But what you're going to find here, guys, that this doesn't just have like one little burst. So we get the initial burst, and look what happens. Okay, so there you have, you can kind of see two X signatures here. Now, just because it looks like an X doesn't mean that that's an X flare. That's just how the camera interprets it. Okay, we see that with C flares. It looks like an X. Now watch the next frame here, because you see two little surges there, because you can tell. Now the next frame you're going to see a third right there, and look what happened there. The camera definitely got overexposed. That's why it did that. Too much light. And you see it's still erupting. Okay, it's still erupting. And still erupting. And then the CME part of it, you can see it starting to come back down, which means the sun's actually recapturing that plasma. At least at that moment. And then it'll kind of die off. If I'm not mistaken, it flares again. Well, I guess I was mistaken. But I also want to point out over here. Watch this. This happened before the X-flare. Look at that. You guys see how big that is? Any other day, that right there is the space weather news we'll be talking about. I'm serious. That was significant. That is a big eruption. Now, it's not coming at us, and we knew that, which is why nobody's freaking out about it. But you can definitely see that that was a... most likely a filament eruption, because you see how it's was kind of laying down right like that. Here, I'll back it up. You see what I'm talking about. You see how it's still kind of connected right there, and then over here. Now watch how this lifts off. It's going to be like a lid, like that. Okay, so watch this. See that? Okay. Now when I'm looking at that there in the middle, that's telling me maybe we did have a small flare. So, but a lot of that was on the backside, but some of that was on the front. But also, this is going way south. Because if you take this and you were to continue that motion, think about that. Now, some of the plasma is going to get flicked out even here, right? But the majority of it's going to go this way. So, that's why I was thinking that maybe that's why we had the proton increase, but it wasn't, because the timing didn't line up. That's at 3. That's at the beginning of the day on the 14th. We had nothing going on with the protons until this X-flare happened. Okay? So, that's just what I'll say there. Okay. Yeah, like a tuning fork. That's a good analogy there. Hope between the dreams. For real. Not kidding. Excellent analogy. But yeah. Who's screaming at you? Congratulations, though. living on your own and stuff. That's a good thing. I know you struggled with some of that stuff before, Miss V. Hopefully you guys are in there joking. Guys, I'm being serious. I have to literally take the chat and move it off of the screen to the point where I minimize it on my computer, and I have to take my phone and turn it upside down because I will do nothing but sit here and talk to you guys if I don't do that. Because it's just not in me to ignore somebody. You know what I mean? So that's just who I am, and so I have to make myself just concentrate. And I know I haven't been doing such a great job on this video, and I kind of squirreled a little bit in the last one, but that, I was just trying to make things. Okay, cool. Just make sure. Yep, chakras. Those are pretty cool stuff to kind of, if you guys don't know about that kind of thing, it's an interesting topic for sure. Oh, let's see here. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nothing here, guys. Now, I will say, guys, look, you see this wind speed? We're actually elevated right now. And I'm wondering why. Huh. Well, I tell you what we can do. We can at least look 3 days behind us here real quick. Okay? That's typically what I do. If I see something that I can't explain, I will go back 3 days and start there. Because if I see a CME pop off, then maybe that's what's hitting us, right? So let's just take a look at this. This is the 12th. That wouldn't be it because that's not going the right direction. And I always go one more day ahead too. And sometimes a day back, just depending. Huh. Okay. So the 13th is when we had these other bigger eruptions. I remember reporting on this. But I don't think, because it would have to be moving as fast as this X-flare thing is. Okay? The CME from the X-flare to be hitting us now. Because it would have gotten here in 2 days too. And this is not moving that fast. So I don't think it's that. So let's go back to the 11th. Anything? Huh. I see something interesting there. You guys probably aren't seeing it. But I am. I'll pause it. Hold on. Okay. If you watch right in here, even all the way around it, you're going to see a little bit of a haze. What that is a partial, maybe even a full halo CME that just isn't that powerful. See that pop up right there? There, did it again. So yeah, I mean, maybe. I'm not going to say for certain. Back on the 11th. If something's moving real slow, it can take it that long to get here. But most likely not. I mean, it's not a big deal. Our wind speed's up. So what, right? I mean, honestly, it's really not a big deal. Because we're not in geomagnetic storms, anything like that. Hey, Mist. I haven't had a chance to read your email. I need to get over there and read that. I'm sorry. Hopefully everything was okay. I've been worried about you. You don't know about Skinwalker Ranch, Ilea? Really? Wow. That's actually a fairly old kind of story, I guess. Well, it doesn't surprise me that somebody that hasn't heard about that, but it's been around for a minute. And to be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about it myself. Be an interesting deep dive, I think. Might be something that Trinity might pick up on and do a show on. She might already have. I don't know. Are you feeling okay, Miss? Just let me know that first. I'd like to know that, if you could. More
Oh my goodness.
Exact on when the things are going to be starting to hit. All right, there we go. Let's shut my voice off right there. How about that? Okay. So anyway, guys, I don't have much more, guys. I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know. But yeah, so to kind of give a recap, we are expecting this thing to hit sooner than probably even what I was thinking to begin with. This thing is supposed to start hitting midway through the day on the 16th. Today's the 15th, which is Sunday now. Okay? So I will just say that. And so we got about another 24 hours. Well, actually, let's see here. What time is it? Yeah. In about 24 hours from right now, this thing should be hitting us. And that's going off of if they got their speed exactly correct. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Are you okay mentally? I hope so. I mean, yeah, the early thing makes me feel a little bit better. I know that doesn't mean anything to you right now because I'm sure it's still hard to hear. I hate to hear that, but you know, if they caught it early, sounds like you're in positive spirits. That's great. So yeah, first off, what we're gonna do right here, we're gonna get some ones in that chat for her, for Miss Dragon, and anybody else that needs it. All right, those are prayers, good thoughts, or whatever. What's gonna happen? Duty calls. Okay, I'll give you a little rundown because I know I've been squirreling. I'll admit it this time. This is me. This is all me. We got a X flare that caused the CME, massive CME, and it's a fast mover. Okay, and it's dense. Typically, you don't get both. We are getting both this time, which is going to increase the power of when it hits. It's going to hit about 24 hours from now, according to NOAA, which is the official forecast. So, and they just updated this thing a few hours ago. Yeah, about 6 hours ago it looks like. Well, it'll be about 10 hours because that's UTC time. If you're on the East Coast, guys, it's a 4-hour difference between that and UTC time. That's a rule of thumb. So if you're on the West Coast here, it's a 7-hour difference. All right, or you can do what most people do now and just get you a time zone calculator app, and you don't even have to think about it. Just yeah, okay. I hear you, miss. I hear you. You know, if there's anything that I can do to help in anything with your channel, any of that, you let me know, okay? I promise you I'll do whatever I can. But anyway, so yeah, back to that little recap here. It is a fast mover. 500 is normal, high end of normal. We're looking at about double that. That's kilometers per second. Now, to put that into miles per hour, rule of thumb is just a general rule of thumb. 400 kilometers per second is roughly 1 million miles per hour. Pale Rider, I don't know. I tend to, yeah, I you know, and this is why I nowcast. Just so you know, I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to even comment on something like that. You know, I really don't. I don't have enough. I'm not aware enough of that. I've not researched that enough to even have an opinion. Okay, at least not an educated one. And so I wouldn't want to say one way or the other. So that's why I nowcast. I show you guys what's going on right now, and hopefully I can give you an idea what's going to happen in the next 12 hours. And then after that, we'll be back again and do the same thing. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. That really does perk up my spirits. I'm not even going to say that. You see, this just it. Well, thank you, Pale Rider. I try to be that way. I really do. You know, that stuff like what's going on with Mist and everything. It puts things in perspective that sometimes You know, I was having a bad day too. And guess what? I would probably bet she's been struggling a little harder than me. So maybe I don't need to be in such a crappy mood. You know what I mean? Um, so thank you for that. Honestly, I mean, so you know, how do we get out of our crappy moods? Well, we do exactly what me and Mister are doing right here, and that is lifting each other up, and that's how it works, and that's exactly what we're going to continue to do. So, all right. So anyway, we got. I'm sorry, I scrolled again on you there too, didn't I, bud? Trying to give you a recap, and I just yeah. This is one of those that's going to be for the books, I guess. I will be back on, guys, tomorrow, probably sometime in the afternoon, maybe early evening, Eastern. So just keep that in mind. I hope to get back on here before this hits. I probably will be. If I'm lucky, I'll get here when it's hitting. So that's just how, we'll do things. So, yep. All right. But anyway, higher dense hit, high speed hit. That's all a formula for a G3 storm, which is what they're saying. I do find it, hey, Leah, you actually may see some Aurora tonight. I wasn't expecting this, just so you know. You might grab your camera and go outside for a little while. Because right now the Aurora oval is pointing almost at you. You see this right here, guys? That's the most intense part of it. So the oval is actually kind of this way, but it's the brunt of it is over here. So there's a chance that whoever's living, mid latitudes, maybe from right here, this line here, north, maybe a little further south, maybe, but you guys got a chance of seeing some Aurora tonight. Canada definitely will. Alaska, that's most nights, by the way. Especially when you get up. I always thought this was cool too. You guys, if you lived here where my cursor is, which I know probably a whole handful of people do, if they want to see the Aurora, they go outside and look south. The rest of the world goes outside and either looks straight up or towards the north. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere. But yeah, guys, you can see the proton increase here. We're not in the storm level yet. We may get there, but even if we do get there, we're not going to know much about it. It's just not going to affect us much. It has to get a little higher than that, but it does let us know that we had a big eruption. So, all right, guys, I am going to pop off. I will see you tomorrow. Sorry about the squirreliness of this video. I love all you guys. Everybody, I love all you guys. Also, remember, guys, treat each other how you want to be treated, and no vulgarity in the chat whatsoever. Try to keep the political conversations out of there too. I get that we have to talk about that stuff sometimes. I understand. I will not talk about that kind of stuff. I just typically don't, because I always mess up and do something wrong. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Also, what was I going to say? Yeah. So you're welcome to have whatever opinion you have too on any subject. I need the moderators and everything. Just listen to me here. Unless it has vulgarity in it or is a direct attack on somebody else or that kind of thing, allow them to have their opinion. Okay. And just conversate with them. How are we supposed to change somebody else's mind if we can't get them to listen to us? You know what I mean? And we won't listen to them. But I get it. And I know there's a lot of strong feelings on a lot of big, strong topics too. I have my own opinions. But as long as we can keep it civil and everything, I don't want to change too much, guys. So just kind of keep that in mind. If a moderator does rip your comment out of there, just know that it's probably for good reason. They may be trying to do whatever, just to kind of keep the peace in the chat. I'm not saying that our moderators are perfect, because I'm not perfect. I moderate over on Marfugal, and I make mistakes all the time. Just ask Ilea. So, and what we try to do as moderators, we try to enforce the chat rules, right? Not what I want, but what the chat rules are. So that's kind of how I have to look at it over there, and it works out good. And so I try to run the same thing here. So I just want you guys to know that, and yeah. So, and and I don't even know. That's the thing, guys. I don't have the time to go back and watch my own videos 99% of the time. So there's no chance I'm able to do anything as far as reviewing live chat and everything. So just know that I do stand behind my moderators, and I also do hold my moderators to a higher level. So, and I think everybody knows that. So just keep that in mind. And we really don't have problems. I don't know why I'm even still talking about that. We don't really have too many of issues. It's just every once in a while we do, and you just got to reiterate the chat rules and keep moving, and just know that I love all of you guys. I truly do. I care about how you guys feel. I care about letting you guys do what you need to do. And when I make mistakes, I'm definitely the first to say it. So, anyway, God bless. Yahusha saves. And as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.